waiting. Here we go. I'm super excited because I want to share a new program with you, but also because there's other stuff that I'd like to share with you today, which is why I kind of made this Facebook Live more of an event than I have in the past. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I shared it on my Facebook, in Facebook groups, on Instagram, on Twitter, and then I also sent an email to my list. I think that Monday at 1:30 is not necessarily the best time, but it was a time that worked in my schedule today, so I wanted to jump on and follow my impulse. So I am not only an impulsive person, which I think is a good thing, but I am also, especially for creatives, but I'm also a person who relies very heavily on her routine. I have always been interested in managing a routine, and we actually do still have one more minute, so I do want to get into that shortly. We have about 4 people on, yay! The only thing that I don't like about doing Facebook Live with my Mevo camera, which is a piece of equipment that I will talk about at a later date, is that I can't see your comments in real time. So I will answer them, but I can't see them as we're doing this. So make sure that you get them all in, and I promise as soon as we stop being live, I will go back and answer them all with as many links or explanations as is needed. Okay, so we're at about, it's 1:30. So today I want to share with you how routines helped me create consistency in my business. So I went to Catholic school, fun fact, and it really, you don't realize until years later how rigid you can get when you're in that environment. So for me, I got very used to living by an agenda or a to-do list. As I became a professional and then an entrepreneur, I converted that into my own way of creating a routine. So for me, I do all of my content writing in the morning. I block out specific times to share, and then I also evaluate what works best on Facebook for my audience based on past posts. So the way that I like to talk about sharing on Facebook and all social media platforms is that it's most important to guess, test, and review. So you guess what time works based on extensive research, something that I've already done for you, and I will share that link as well so you can get that freebie. And then you test and see if it works for your audience, and then you review the analytics to actually see what did work and what didn't work. In the guess process, there are multiple times at which you can post based on research that I've done across the board with clients in all different verticals, in addition to research that I did from general surveys geared towards social media experts. So there's a lot of times for you to guess and test, and then the review process comes each time you finish a cycle. Creating that kind of routine allows you to then block time and provides your audience with a sense of consistency. So consistency is actually what built my business. I am a social media expert and content strategist, and my team and I build out content calendars, Instagram schedules, we ghostwrite blogs, we write blogs, we curate blogs, we write newsletters. Really, if there's anything that you need to promote you, your brand, your services, or your offering, which could be a book, it could be your design services, it could be in-person consulting, coaching, a training course. It doesn't matter what your services offering is. It's all about promoting it in the right way for your audience at the exact right time when they want to see it. Now, when we get that granular into the way that the routine works, that's an extensive process. That's something that we do over a period of time together when we work together. And what I really wanted to talk about today in this Facebook Live, or what I really wanted to show you, is that I don't necessarily have to only work with you when you're at a higher level in your business. I have worked with everyone from, newbies who are just starting out, to students, to journalists who don't necessarily have a brand but want to Fortune 500 companies, to nonprofits, to digital publishers. It doesn't matter what stage you're at, there is a program for you, and there is a way for us to help you get your brand on track. So implementation is a big part of what makes my business unique. we actually not only tell you what to post, but we do it for you. So one of the programs that I've listed on my site is the Facebook Fast Track program, and that is more of a traditional coaching program, and that's the program that I wanted to talk a little bit more about on this Facebook Live. However, there are also new programs under creativexmedia.com/pricing that will give you a sense of how we could get started. I added 2 levels of social media management, and then I also added a Facebook facelift and an Instagram Insta Goals package for monthly options to help you get started. So that's the most important thing. One of the clients that I work with was just getting started. She wanted to run her first program. It was actually a beta, and Dawn may or may not be watching, but we were just talking about her case study, so I'm so excited to share this. And her conversion rate based on the content that we created. So in that program, we created the emails for marketing, the landing page. We set up the email sequence to deliver the emails of the course itself, because it was also an email course. And we also helped Dawn figure out the best way to market it. And in addition to like setting up some Facebook Live programs for her audience. Doing that allowed us to have a 53.3% conversion rate for that program, for her first program out of the gate, which is amazing. And that has a lot to do with the brand that she had already cultivated. It was just about reaching them in a specific way for this program. The good part about that was that she had a lot of research, even if she didn't realize it, based on what to show us what would actually work for her audience. And we were able to use that to build a landing page that converted at a very high rate. There are other companies that we work with. We even work with brick and mortar stores, and sometimes we just come in and we get started with Facebook ads, which will actually bring us into the Facebook Fast Track program. So sometimes we work with companies to build their following or to drive a certain number of users or followers back to their site. And those are either called conversion or link click ads. So conversion is when you actually want someone to purchase or fill out a form or do something. You want them to convert. Whereas link click is just that you just want them to go to the page and see the information that you have presented. Obviously, conversion will give you a better result and also a better gauge of whether or not it's working, but sometimes you're not set up for that yet. So what we can do is try to understand or try to get a sense of how well your pages are working by driving users to the page and seeing if they actually follow through on the conversion that you wanted them to follow through on. We did that for a client with a brick and mortar store. We targeted their exact zip code, and we were able to send over 500 people in 2 weeks to their site. Now, that may sound small, but for someone who has a very small, specific, ideal client, it was a huge win. Another thing that we were able to do when we broadened their geographic location for the ad, we were able to bring in almost an additional 1,700 people in the same 2-week period. So that's huge. You know, that could really turn into true traffic for you. And even if you can just capture them in an email sequence, then you have an opportunity to reach them more directly. So the Facebook Fast Track program it's a $97 program. It's 3 weeks of emails, and you're also going to get access to my private Facebook group where I share a lot of additional content. I create a lot of content because I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy writing. Everything that you see that I write, I've written myself. I don't always schedule it. Sometimes I use a team member for that. But I do write all of my own content because I think that's really important. And that's what the Facebook Fast Track program is. I want to teach you how to properly set up your Facebook page. So one thing that most people forget is that according to Facebook's terms of service, you're supposed to sell on a business page. Now, as you know, I'm going live right now on my Facebook personal profile. I tend to share live videos on my Facebook personal profile because I do feel that I get more reach and more live views, and then I take down the video, well, I leave it up on the page, but then I save it and I then share it on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. You can reshare some posts, and I do that pretty often just to kind of break up the algorithm, but it is really important to have a brand page, as that is what allows you to see true Instagram analytics for your brand. And then it also gives you a sense of like what works, what could be boosted, how many people did you actually reach. You know, likes and comments are great, but if you could actually see reach, it gives you a better sense of how to move forward. And you don't necessarily have to start from scratch, which is something that I can tell you a little bit more about in the program. Then we're going to get into how to build out an editorial calendar that works for you for Facebook posts. We're going to talk about the 3 different types of Facebook posts that you can do, why you would want to choose one type over another, and how you can actually maximize the boost ability, which is like not really a word, but it makes sense, how you can make sure that your organic posts are ready to go for boosting to not only save yourself time, but to create consistency because if you create an ad that doesn't look like any of the posts on your page, after someone clicks on your ad or clicks on your page and they see the organic content you have, it'll feel like a disconnect. So it is all about creating consistency in both your organic content and in your paid content. So again, in 3 weeks, we'll go over all of that. You'll walk away with an ad that you can set up for your brand. You'll get to ask me specific questions daily in my Facebook group geared towards your brand or any questions you have on that email that was sent out for the week. And then really any other questions you have about Facebook sharing in general. So it's a 3-week program. It starts February 13th. On a Monday, because I like when things start on a Monday, and then and then we'll go from there. I tend to be most active in my Facebook group on Fridays because I think that's a good catch up for the week, but I will answer questions each and every day for the duration of this program. And in general, I really want to create a community where we help each other understand that social media doesn't have to be scary or overwhelming, and that you can really use it to sell. So if you'd like to join me in the Facebook group today, I will add that link to this post, but you can also search in Facebook for DIY Your Digital Empire. I hope that helps, and now I'm going to jump off so that I can look at your questions if you have any, and then we can talk a little bit more about the Facebook Fast Track program. I hope this gave you a good idea of what I do with clients one-on-one, and then also some little programs that can help you jumpstart before you may be ready, even for our monthly program or our newbie training program. There's so many ways to work together to really create content that works for your audience and then create an implementation plan that takes the stress off of you. So have a wonderful Monday afternoon, and I will see you back here soon. Check my emails for the next Facebook Live event. And if you're not signed up for my list, you totally should be. You can go to either vixinthecity.com or creativexmedia.com and we'll get you signed up. Either way, it goes to the same list, and you will get all of my tips plus some information about programs that are coming up. Many more to come this quarter and next, and I can't wait to help you dominate digital media. Have a great day. Bye-bye.